friends, it's Jasmine, and I hope that you all are doing well. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I am a witchy content creator here on YouTube. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. It's good to see your face. And let's get into today's video. So in today's video, I really want to kind of continue this astrological cosmic witchcraft sort of series, where last vernal equinox at Aries, we started this project where we go through all of the 12 zodiac together here on this channel. And I've made 2 videos for each season. The first one kind of detailing what the zodiac is and what a celestial season is and what that means for that season. The second video kind of breaking down how we as witches can use that astrological season to our highest benefit. Now, while I am filming this, I am filming these in the current season. So it's truly kind of like a year and a day. So if you go back and watch some of the previous zodiac videos, you will find myself in that current season when I'm filming it. However, you can use this on a solar level and work with the celestial energy of that particular solar season with the zodiac in this way, or you can work with it on a lunar level. So if the moon is, let's say, full or dark in Virgo or Capricorn, you can go back and watch those videos, and you can use those videos to help you with your full moons or your SBATs to give you a little bit more of a guideline and a little bit more structure. The reason that I wanted to start this project is because I wanted to experience the 12 zodiac in kind of a spiritual, esoteric sort of way, and also to incorporate that more into my own practice as a witch. Planetary magic, Sahir, is like a huge part of my practice. And I think that kind of like as above, so below, as the gods, so are we, as the heavens, so on earth. I think that when it comes to weaving magic, oftentimes for myself, I have found that it works best when we are working in alignment with the planet and the celestial bodies. I don't know if any of you can notice any sort of difference, but I recently did upgrade my filming equipment. So I've always just filmed all of my videos on my phone. I don't have like a super fancy camera or anything like that. I just use my iPhone. And I had the iPhone 11 Max Pro, and I'm currently now using the iPhone 14 Max Pro. So I was very fortunate, honey.
The work works when you work the work if you're working the work.
For hopefully being able to produce better quality videos with the better camera on the iPhone 14 Max Pro. Some of you might have noticed that behind me, things are changing. I have a portion of my personal at-home occult library here in my witchy room or my home office. And over there on the other side, I have a little bit of my apothecary, which I'm sort of like switching around a little bit. And it's so funny because like a few of you have talked about the way I say certain things, and there's a lot of different influences in my dialect. For those of you who have been on my channel for a while, then it's probably not a surprise, but having multiple languages and then also living in Indiana, but also having some East Coast influence, like all of that comes out in my dialect. So sometimes I say apothecary, or I know that it's, they say apothecary. I don't know. Two of you though have definitely pointed out some of the ways that I pronounce things, which is kind of fun. Like, I don't take it offensively. I never really thought that I had much of like an accent per se, but technically I guess we all do, because it's shaped by, you know, our geography and our culture. But anyway, today's video, I want to talk about Aquarius with you guys. I want to talk about the Aquarius season. I want to talk about how we as witches can sort of best use the energy of Aquarius in our practice. So starting with first, Aquarius is a fixed air sign. And I know that for you know, some people, they're like, oh, I thought Aquarius was water. That is a common misconception about Aquarius. I think it's because of that word aqua, meaning like water. But the reason why Aquarius is called Aquarius is because it basically means the cup bearer or the water bearer. And if we look at Greek mythology, which I will give you a very butchered, bastardized version of this. If you are interested, yes, all 12 of the zodiac and also other constellations are not just named willy-nilly. They actually all come from mythology. In traditional astrology, we're looking at ancient Samaria. And then when it comes into basically Greece, that's where we have the traditional astrology that we have that a lot of us are using in the West today. And in modern astrology, it's definitely pulling from that Greco-Roman sort of narrative. Really good videos by like John Solo and other creators here on YouTube that will break down the mythology so much more eloquently than I can. But I will give you sort of, I guess, the meat and potatoes, as I like to say. So essentially the story starts off with this goddess Hebe or Hebe, which was kind of like this flower maiden cupbearer child of the gods, who actually served the gods at their meetings on Mount Olympus, Ambrosia. And this is something that like was especially fun to kind of like research and dig into more, because Ambrosia is actually a family name of mine. And so the channel name here, Jasmyne Ambrosia, that is my name, although Ambrosia is actually my middle name. Needless to say, I was especially excited to kind of explore Ambrosia, and basically it's just the nectar of the gods. We don't really have a lot to go off of on what exactly Ambrosia is or was. It is a stoner rock band. It's also a terrible Midwestern mayonnaise-based fruit salad. But it's also a fruit that gives immortality. And whether it is a mixture of fruits or one singular fruit, we're not really sure. It could be like an apple grape sort of variant. It could be a pomegranate variant. But ambrosia is a fruit that gives immortality to the new Greek gods, post-Titans. And Hebe or Hebe served this and chalices to the gods. And one day Hebe kind of has a little oopsie moment and basically drops the pitcher filled with ambrosia, and it crashes onto the floor. The chalices break, the pitcher breaks, and ambrosia wine spills everywhere.
Girl.
Hera was very upset. Hera was not having it, and she commanded that Zeus find a new cupbearer. And under this sort of assignment, Zeus was not allowed or permitted to have a woman be the cupbearer for the gods. So Zeus set out on his mission to basically find a new cupbearer, which he found. One of the princes in Greece had a shepherd that Zeus essentially kind of did his Zeus thing and like fell in love with, and was like keeping his eyes on the shepherd. And in a nutshell, he basically turned into an eagle, came down, and did his kind of Zeus thing, and basically forced him back to Olympus. While at Olympus, the shepherd then became the new cupbearer for the gods, and Zeus desired him so because he was so beautiful and so charming and so intelligent, and all of these things that Zeus admired, he found within this young man. Of Aquarius became because Zeus put this constellation up in the sky to kind of show the boy's family that he was in a place of honor. That's one variation of the story. There's several others. Please go on your own deep dive down the rabbit hole of the zodiac and mythology. I think that understanding the mythology behind the 12 zodiac can only really deepen our connection with it as witches. Aquarius in the natal chart also rules the 11th house. The 11th house is the house of friendship, social networks, and politics. So, that being said, as witches, our magic that we are weaving while the sun or moon is in Aquarius, we can work in best alignment with that. This is a really good time to draw more witchy folk to you, or to strengthen your social media or strengthen your social network, be it in the physical or the digital or the astral. This is also a really good time for us to kind of look at our values as witches. What is it that you value, and how can we be using our craft to support our community? I know that for myself, it's during this time of year where I am looking at charities to support, whether that be through making candles and selling them at the shop for charity purposes, or donating a portion of my proceeds from like YouTube or Patreon, or doing readings to help support charities that I find to be important, that support my community and my local community. Witchcraft has always been a tool of the oppressed, and if we look at some classical witchy literature, such as the Gospel of Aradia, we find that Aradia is teaching the peasant folk of Italy witchcraft as a way to uplift them, empower them, and free them from their wealthy Catholic lords, souring the crops and spoiling milk, as a way of getting justice and vengeance. And so anytime I hear a witch kind of spout off that witchcraft is not political, they're in fact wrong, because witchcraft has always been political, and it's always been about supporting the marginalized and the oppressed. And so this Aquarius season, I encourage you and myself as well to think about how we can be using our craft to support some of these communities. Like I mentioned as well, if you are looking to connect with more community, Aquarius is a great sign to incorporate and work with, because it does rule friendships and social networking. So if you want to bring more witches into your life, or if you're looking for a coven, or if you're trying to find just people on your same wavelength, platonically, magically, this is a great time to weave some magic for that. You have a really good spell for calling on the witches. And this spell, it kind of basically brings them into your life. Now, it will bring all witches, so you will have to sift through the shit, but it will bring in witches into your life. And I plan to share that with you in my Aquarius magic working. So Aquarius is an air sign. It's a fixed sign of the zodiac, meaning that it's a stable air sign. It rules the 11th house of friendship and politics. And on a planetary level, in modern astrology, it's associated with the planet Uranus, which represents massive change, and sometimes even a little bit of chaos too. Uranus in your natal chart, if you get your chart and you look at Uranus, where Uranus is represents what is changing in your life. So the zodiac is a whole generation of people. So if you have a Uranus in, let's say, Scorpio, a lot of people are going to have that. But more specifically, if you look at the house that Uranus is in, that says how things are changing for you personally in your chart from astrological generation to astrological generation. As far as other correspondences go for Aquarius, I would associate like air, like blowing air. I would associate ambrosia. I would associate wine and chalices. I would associate also eagles, because Zeus coming down in the shape of an eagle to grab the shepherd up and send him up to the heavens. See, Aquarius is the water bearer. Sometimes you will find Aquarius depicted as simply a vase that's like kind of pouring over. And this represents some philosophy and some ideas, because Aquarius does have a very political, socially minded nature. However, Aquarius is the cupbearer, the bearer of immortality. So it's not necessarily simply an inanimate object. It's kind of a demigod, really. I hope that you all are doing well and enjoying this series. We only have one left, which is Pisces, and that is going to be leading us up to the end of this project. I do want to start another project at the vernal equinox when the sun enters the first degree of Aries, Ostara, as some of you might call it. And I'm kind of thinking I'm going to do like an Esbat tea. I've asked some of you here on Patreon about like what you thought would be good to do for like a year and a day project. And I think the Esbat project is kind of what I want to do, where once a month we kind of get together and maybe we do a reading or a ritual or something involving that full moon through the lens of my personal understanding via my own geographical location. And I think that could be really fun to do together. Also, on my Patreon, links down below, I do teach classes, and I have all of my content there for early release. So if you're interested in witchy or divination or occult classes, check those out. And I also recently added a new tier, which is consultations. So if you're interested in spell work or readings or just booking an hour for us to chat, check out my consultations tier on Patreon. I hope that this season of Aquarius finds you well, and I hope that you are connecting with your chosen people. Until next time, blessed be, and I will see you in hell.